So we met sort of via TikTok, messaged on Instagram. I saw that you put a TikTok out that had to do with dating. It went viral. That's what caught my eye. So tell us, what was that TikTok video? If you remember, what did you say in there?
The first TikTok that I made that went viral was about how like this guy canceled a date on me like last minute, like very last minute, which to me that's like an hour. Like if an hour notice, that's last minute. And so basically I was just kind of talking about that and I was like, I'm gonna make myself feel better. Now I'm gonna go get ice cream. And then it was basically me just eating ice cream and being like, why do guys always cancel, or like why does this always happen to me, like things like that. I thought just my friends were going to see it, but turns out a lot more people saw it and they all had strong opinions.
And now you're putting out 2 to 3 videos a day.
It depends. It really, like if I'm busy I don't put out any videos,
Okay.
but if I have nothing going on, if I think something's funny I'll just like video it or vlog it or whatever. I kind of use TikTok as like my own personal vlog. Like I don't really have a niche, I kind of just put out whatever and see what happens.
What do you think is the percentage of videos you have about dating and like relationships and things like that?
Mm, maybe like 10 to 15%. I used to, like at the beginning of the year, I was going out on a lot more dates. So I just had more dating content. But like this summer, I really haven't been on any dates at all. So I haven't really focused on that.
So this is interesting. So you're obviously you're a very attractive woman,
Thank you.
and I was about to say girl, but you were 24. You were a
Yeah.
woman, and so a guy stood you up. And how often has that happened to you?
I guess I didn't get stood up in like the sense that like I showed up to the place and he wasn't there. But I get canceled on, it's happened like at least like 3 or 4 times. Sometimes by the same person, like they'll do it multiple times and then I'm like, "Okay, this is not worth my time. I'm just you're done. I give up on you."
How many unique men have canceled, rescheduled, or flaked? Well, let's just say this: what is the worst flake cancel that you've gotten before? Was it that one that you posted on TikTok?
Yes, because I was like ready. I was dressed. I was like drinking my little wine, getting ready to leave the house. And then he was like, sorry, I can't make it. And then he didn't even have an excuse, which, like, obviously, you don't always have to give someone an excuse. But if you're like, hey,
Yeah.
something really important came up, I can't make it. He was just like, can't make it. So I was like, okay, well, this is really aggravating.
And that was it. And that was the end of your what? Well, it's not a relationship, but connection with this
Yes,
person.
that was the end of it.
Okay. Um, who is this guy? Do you have a picture of him?
No, he's someone that I don't know if anyone else does this, but like how you get on dating apps and off dating apps and then back on. He was like someone I would always
Hmm.
match with, but we never actually met up. And so it was like this time we were gonna meet up, and then it just didn't happen. So needless to say, I have not
Got it.
matched with him again.
Got it. What was I'm curious and be honest here, like what was your feeling going through this? Like when that happened, were you were you sad or upset? Were you did that knock your self-esteem at all? Or did it make you angry? Like what were you feeling when that happened?
I wasn't sad or upset because I don't know this person, you know what I mean? But I think I was just aggravated because it's like, why? Like, why do I always kind of find myself in this situation? Is it because I keep going, like picking the wrong guys, or is it just because there's just a coincidence? But it was more just
Yeah.
being annoyed than anything because I had already gotten dressed.
Yeah.
And I hate getting dressed and then plans being canceled.
What if I told you that this, and maybe you know this already? I'd be curious. What if I told you that this happens to guys probably about 20 times the amount
Oh, I would
that it's
believe that.
happened to you?
I would believe that 100%.
Did you know that before I said that to you?
Um, I would guess it because I know girls, some of even my friends have done this. Who'll be like, "Oh, I have this date tonight with this guy, but I don't really feel like going. I think I'm gonna cancel." So
Okay, this is great. Okay, let's dive into that. Now we can really get behind the scenes. So, when your friends say that to you, what's their reasoning? So you said that she said, "Okay, I have a date tonight. I think I'm going to cancel." What is she like? Why does she cancel? What does she say?
I think a lot of times it has less to do with the person that they're canceling on and more to do with them. They're either not in the mood to go out on a date or do anything, or they're like really in their head about it and they get really, really nervous, especially which I mean, I can say this because I've done this once. So I had a date planned with
You flaked on a date because you were too nervous.
yes, I had a date was scheduled with someone,
Tell me
and he
more.
was older than me. He's like 10 years older than me, so he was in his early 30s, and like it was coming up, and I was like, I just can't do this. Like he's so much older than me. What are we gonna talk about? We probably have nothing in common. Like I really psyched myself out of that date, and then I canceled on it because I got way, way, way too nervous.
Now, this is interesting because when a guy gets nervous, he gets nervous because he wants there to be a positive outcome with the woman, and he's afraid that there won't be a positive outcome. But this doesn't seem like the same thing, unless I'm wrong. What you're saying is you got nervous, but still a little confused. You got nervous because you didn't think it was going to work out, or fill in the blank here for me.
I guess I was just like intimidated because he was so much older than me, and I was like, why would he be interested in me? I don't even have a real job. I'm like, he probably
Oh,
has way more
interesting.
successful women that would like to go out with him. Like, I was afraid that I was just gonna be like boring to him, or like I didn't want to come across like childish or anything like that. So I kind of psyched myself out.
You rejected yourself, basically.
Oh yeah, that was definitely me just being insecure in myself, like letting my anxiousness like get the best of me.
So you just assumed, you said, you know what, I'm going to flake on this date because I just know this is not going to go well. It's just not going to work out.
Well, I did give him a big notice, so I felt better about it. I gave him
Right. But either way, notice or no notice, you didn't show up on the date.
no, I didn't.
And I'm saying, is that because you just assumed like this is just not going to happen? He just won't like me. Let's just end it here.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of times, I feel like when girls flake on dates, it has really nothing to do with the other person, and it has everything to do with themselves. They let their insecurities or their anxieties get the best of them.
I think maybe in your experience, I think that's a little bit of anecdotal evidence. I believe you. I don't think you're lying, but I think that there's other women out there who are also flaking because they have better options, and they weren't that. Or I'll say this: they weren't that interested in the guy in the first place.
That could also be true.
Does that ring a bell for you or your friends
I
if
mean,
they've
I
ever
could
flaked?
definitely see a situation if you make plans to go out with this guy who you're not even sure you're like, that you're not sure that you like, and then your friends are like, "Hey, I know like you have something going on, but would you want to go get drinks tonight with all of us?" I could see how they'd be like, "Oh yeah, like I'd rather go get drinks with my friend."
Exactly, because they're just not that interested in that guy.
Yeah.
You know. That's so this is very interesting. I think this brings up a very interesting point. I never really knew that. I never thought of the idea of a woman flaking because she just didn't feel like she could live up to the standards of the guy, or just think that it wouldn't work out. I think that my theory is that the reason why one of the reasons, not the reason, but one of the reasons why women don't approach men is, well, of course they want to be approached. It makes them feel more feminine, right, when a guy comes over and talks to you. But also I think that women are very sensitive to rejection, more sensitive than a man, because I think that overall women's self-esteems are they are more sensitive because of the pressures that society has put on them and how they're supposed to be. So I just feel like rejection hits a woman harder than it does a guy. I still think it hits guys hard too, and it sucks. But I feel like a woman is more sensitive to it. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I definitely can see that. I could see like if you approach a guy in the bar and he just doesn't seem that interested, how you would want to take that personally. I don't know. Something that I always remind myself is that this is a stranger. So if they reject me, who cares? Because
Hmm.
they don't know me as a person. So a lot of times I think rejection can have nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. So I like,
Right.
and that's also easier said than done to say like, oh, I don't care, but it's something that I try to like actively practice on and be like, okay, so what, there's another one right around the corner. This person can say no, but the next person might say yes.
Yep. So let's talk about when guys come and hit on you. How often does that happen?
If I'm out with like, it only really happens if I'm out at like a bar or something. But if it does happen, it's probably like once or twice a night if I go out with my friends or something like that.
And how often out of those times do you give a guy your number?
Not very often.
Okay,
Yeah.
why is that?
Well, for one, I don't know. I think I'm kind of an awkward person. Sometimes I don't always make conversation the easiest. And so I feel like I kind of, if someone comes up to me, I'm just like, oh, like, hi, how are you? How are you? And then the conversation just kind of like filters out, you know what I mean? Like it kind of just ends there and they go back to doing whatever they want to do and I'm back with my friends. It doesn't ever really get to the point where they ask for my number, but occasionally it will happen and I will say no because I'm just like I'm not interested or it's because I
Okay.
don't really care about dating at the moment like right now haven't been on a lot of dates just because it hasn't really been a focus of mine right now.
Okay, got it. What makes you I'm curious, what makes you want to say yes to a guy and give you his number and then actually follow through with meeting up with him?
I think for me, I really go for guys that can make me laugh. I have like a dry, sarcastic kind of sense of humor. So if I meet someone and we have like good, witty banter, to me, that's like, okay, yes, I could see myself hanging out with this person again. They make me laugh, they seem fun. That's pretty much it, really. Like if when you're just meeting for the first time.